Good morning, my dear friends. Happy Monday. Why Monday? Why Monday? I've got some coffee here and I've got some of this. My ring light finally bit the dust, so we're gonna have to do this without lights. Thank goodness it's morning. And I've got to find some other alternative at this point. So yeah, already a great Monday. But you're here for a candle review. So I have a double candle review for you today from Yankee. This is from their recent cafe collection, which was supposed to be about coffee, I think. All of the labels had what looks like a pretty good coffee on the front, a mug of coffee, but coffee was nowhere to be found in this cafe collection. So this is a cafe that does not weirdly have coffee. Instead, we just got a lot of other things. We're gonna call them cafe or coffee adjacent kind of things. So today we have Pumpkin Spice Latte, which was this beautiful kind of brick orange color. And then we also have Vanilla Chai Latte, which was kind of a dusty brown, light brown tan color. Yeah, could probably have done with, I would have put this, but I think I mentioned that before. I would have put Vanilla Chai Latte in kind of a creamy, maybe speckled color. And then I would have reserved some kind of tone of beautiful green for the, what is it? The mint, what is it? Peppermint mocha? Peppermint mocha. Yeah. They put the peppermint mocha in a white, but I think maybe their colors could have been switched there. Very small and minor points. Generally speaking, Yankee Candle does continue to do well with the colors of its wax. So, I mean, we need to tally up those points for sure for Yankee. Yeah, so when I initially smelled, so there's 4 in this collection, these 2, and then there's the peppermint mocha, which I haven't burned yet, but it's getting time to burn it. Peppermint mocha, oh my gosh, it's what I should probably start burning right now. Peppermint mocha. Oh, I'll take it to my sister's house because she's a basic gourmandie. She will love it. Although probably won't have strength and throw. Okay, sorry for this stream of consciousness. Okay, I'll take peppermint mocha. So there's peppermint mocha, these 2 right here, the vanilla chai and the pumpkin spice. And then there was a nitro cold brew, which I had such high hopes for because I do love myself a cold brew. But there was very little coffee in that candle. It was mostly chocolate, which wasn't even listed. Sorry, my hair is crazy. It wasn't even listed in the notes at all, but there was a heavy amount of caramel, cream, and milk. I mean, caramel, cream, and chocolate in that candle. And because of the caramel and the chocolate that they were using, it just came across as a Tootsie Roll. And like I said, not a whole lot of coffee. Now, since I've burned all of the coffee candles this month, Coffee House from Goose Creek is actually similar, or at least it's in the same category in that it's got that heavy amount of chocolate with also some caramel. And again, it does go Tootsie Roll a little bit, but Goose Creek does have a healthy dose of coffee on the side, whereas that Nitro Cold Brew really didn't have any coffee on the side either. So it was just a no for me. It was an absolute no. I don't burn candles, period. I don't want one that smells like chocolate or Tootsie Roll. And I was also personally offended because I love cold brew and I feel like that was a real missed opportunity, if you know what I mean. So I took Nitro Cold Brew back to Yankee unburned. I didn't even bother with that one. I have burned these 2 here, and as you can see, I've burned them all the way down to the wick clips. It took me about 3 weeks apiece. And at least Vanilla Chai Latte was kind of hate burned for a while. So let's talk about Vanilla Chai Latte first. This says Vanilla Chai Latte, first sip at sunrise. Okay, so a chai, if you're not familiar, is actually a tea. It's a certain kind of tea blend, and it originates, if I'm not mistaken, in India. It's kind of an Indian, Southern Asian kind of thing. And chai has the unmistakable spices of, amongst other things, cardamom, clove, cinnamon, etc. And what I did appreciate, oh, there's a star anise here too in this little cup here, which is also another one of those spices. Man, they're so good with the spices though in India. And it usually, it's a tea, like a black tea or some sort of tea with these various different spices. And sometimes it will have a cream component to it. Often it does not, especially if it's an authentic chai from India. Yeah, so no coffee here anyway, really. Starbucks and various other places do have chai lattes, and they cut whatever spice concoction there is, they cut it with a great deal of milk and cream. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that Starbucks and probably other coffee companies, they just use this like chai, what would we call it? It's like a cocktail mix without the alcohol. I think it just comes, I don't even think that they brew like the tea separately. I think it just all comes from the corporate office in one thing. Anyway, this is not really about Starbucks. This is about Yankee Candle. So that is apparently what they're going for. And they're even calling it a vanilla and a latte. So they're already advertising a lot of cream here. What I like to see from a chai, and I don't care if you're Bath and Body Works, whatever else, what I like to see from a chai is a really robust spiciness. I don't need a milk candle. I just don't, you know? And I prefer punchy flavors, punchy scent notes. And if there's any kind of spice concoction that should give you that punchiness, it is a chai, especially if you use the traditional spices of cardamom, maybe some anise, definitely clove, etc., right? I want to smell the cardamom. And I know that cardamom is very much an acquired taste, maybe all over the world, but certainly in America, we don't use cardamom that much. And it can, if it's done too heavily, be a little bit on the soapy side. So you do have to be very thoughtful about what you pair with cardamom and thoughtful about the amount that you use. But what I want is a strong cardamom note. I don't want just ginger. I don't want like a ton of ginger instead of cardamom, right? Or a ton of cinnamon. I think what makes a chai unique is the cardamom and the star anise, right? So what I loved about this candle is that at least on cold, I was definitely picking up on that cardamom note. And I'm doubly certain that it is cardamom, true cardamom, because Yankee has had several candles in the last year or so that had an unexpected cardamom note and a very strong one. So the panned sweet vanilla horchata that came out earlier this year has an enormous amount of cardamom in it. I loved that candle personally, but partly because of the cardamom, it was a very acquired taste kind of candle. And horchata does not traditionally have, well, here we go. This is what I just used. Chilla cinnamon cream, which is chilla horchata. There you go. This is an alcoholic version. Highly recommend. Horchata is like a rice milk, but it kind of has a sweetened condensed milk kind of feel to it. And then it's got a lot of cinnamon in it. And it can have some other little things, but it's mainly cinnamon dominant, no cardamom in like a Latin or Mexican kind of horchata. And so to include that cardamom and a very heavy amount of it in the sweet vanilla horchata earlier this year was a real mistake. Although I thought it was like kind of a brilliant candle because it was just so out of the box. So I know they've got that cardamom note. And then there was another candle recently too that has also had the cardamom note in it. And I honestly can't remember what it is. So forgive me. But I know that they've got those oils on hand, especially because of a candle that came out in January. So I am pretty confident saying that there is cardamom in here. Oh yeah, I can still smell it. It's got a lot of cinnamon, which is good. The cinnamon and the cardamom are playing really, really nicely. It's got probably just as much cinnamon as it has cardamom, which is fine. And it has ginger in it. It's got a good amount of ginger. It probably has about as much ginger as it has cinnamon and cardamom. And frankly, all three of those spices punch with equal weight. They're all three like really pretty intense spices. So it's already set up to be like a pretty fantastic blend. Yes, it probably does have like a vanilla and milky component, but those three spices are just gonna make it seem like vanilla has no chance, right? And that's what I kind of really liked about this candle. It didn't blow me away at first sniff, but it smells like an authentic chai, which is more than I can say from anything from Kringle that has chai on it. But even some of the chai, or most of the chai candles from Bath & Body Works are very lackluster and don't even come close to this kind of punchiness, at least on cold. I mean, you know that the shoe is gonna drop here. No, once it was burned, like the grandeur was mitigated. We will put it that way. Not great strength and throw. Let me talk to you about the blurb and the scent notes here. So the blurb here for the scent story from Yankee says, that first sip makes your morning sweeter. Savor the feeling all day long with fragrance notes of, okay, weirdly, cappuccino, caramel drizzle, and sprinkles of cinnamon. Okay, so this is a real mistake because while the label, the title of the candle was correct and the cold sniff was correct, and it seems from smelling it that like all the ingredients are there for a pretty authentic chai, you know, a la Americana or whatever else, the notes and the scent story just deviate into this very strongly coffee dimension, which is not chai at all. And the only like spice that they mention here is a sprinkle of cinnamon. Friends, there is way more than a sprinkle of cinnamon in this candle. I almost feel as though this blurb and this scent story and the notes, which I'm going to read to you, are just like maybe a mock-up of a like proposal or vision for another kind of candle that just didn't materialize. I mean, it's really kind of that off. The top notes are supposed to be sprinkled cinnamon and coffee. Mid notes are cappuccino and frothy milk. Base notes are sugar crystals, caramel drizzle, and vanilla. So they're promising a lot of sugar here and a lot of coffee. There is no coffee in this candle, and there should not be in a chai, to be perfectly honest. And there is an enormous amount of spice. Like I said, you've got the cardamom, you've got the ginger, and you've got the cinnamon in this candle. It is a spicy, spicy candle, and nothing in this scent story or in the scent notes would give you any indication that that's the kind of candle that you're getting, unless you just really cling fast to the chai. I mean, Yankee really, really needs to fix their situation here. I mean, we just don't know. There are many of us who don't have Yankee candles near us. We are relying heavily upon their marketing and branding on their online website. The marketing, the branding, and the scent notes to buy candles. And because, frankly, their actual fragrances are so completely off from sometimes their scent notes and their marketing, it's a crisis. It's a crisis. It would be a crisis even if Bath & Body Works style, most people bought their candles in the brick and mortar stores. We would still be scratching our heads at this nonsense. But when you have people who are relying upon the online presence, they're relying upon a marketing, they're relying upon scent stories, they're relying upon scent notes, you cannot do this kind of bait and switch. You cannot. If somebody bought this candle cold, thinking from the blurb and from the scent notes that they were getting a coffee candle, they would be very mistaken and they would be very upset. I hope you like spice. I don't know what else to say. So that's a disaster right there. There's absolutely no coffee in it. And while it is a sweet candle, it is so spicy, frankly. And it's got those really, really bold spices in there. The biting ones, the ginger, the cardamom, and even the cinnamon, which does not go red hot, but it is a cinnamon that is competing with all of those, with those other two. You have at least the feel, the experience, the psychological impression that this is not a sweet candle because of all of the spiciness. So there's that. It's a lovely candle on cold. Burned, I did not like it as well. The really like bitingness of the spices kind of got washed out once it was burned. And what I was left with was a very toasty ginger candle. So in the battle of the three, ginger seemed to have won out. It was a very toasty, roasty ginger spice with vanilla kind of a offering. And like I said, it was deep and it was not as sweet, which is why I say it's again, even more of a misnomer that they mention sugar so often in these scent notes. It was not a sugary ginger concoction. It was, like I said, a roasty, toasty, almost savory concoction. I wanted more cinnamon and I wanted more cardamom. And I just think that kind of, like I said, the brilliance of the spices got washed out a little bit once burning it. It was okay in terms of strength and throw. To be honest, I burned it mostly in the guest bathroom. Once I realized that in the like open concept, it was kind of giving me a 4 or a 5. It was like, I took it to the back bedroom. Yeah, it may have given me like a 6. I just didn't like the smell of it, certainly in the back bedroom. So I put it in the front and it did spill out into the hallway. So I do think that it probably was between like a 5, anywhere between a 4 and a 6. We'll put it that way, depending upon the space that you put it in. For me, that wasn't enough to repurchase it. And like I said, I liked it less once it was burned than when I was smelling it. So there you go. There's vanilla chai. It really wasn't horrible, but it wasn't one that I would repurchase. And while it promised, it had so much potential in the spice realm, I don't know that upon being burned, it really translated as well as I wanted it to. So I'm still on the hunt for that amazing chai candle. Let's talk about Pumpkin Spice Latte. I actually liked the Pumpkin Spice Latte candle better than this one, and I did not anticipate that I would. It's a really nice pumpkin spice. It's a really nice. Now, don't get it twisted. It doesn't have coffee in it. You know what I mean? They didn't even bother. But to be honest, I'm kind of okay about that because I'm one of those people who's still not entirely sold on the concept of a pumpkin spice latte. I know. I think that Starbucks is gross. Like, their gingerbread latte has always been the most disgusting, no question, which is kind of some of those like chai-like spices along with a coffee. So maybe it's a mercy that they did not try to combine these spices with a robust coffee. It often just comes off very sour and strange to combine a coffee note with some of these spices. I have still not run across in real life, IRL, a beverage that is a pumpkin spice coffee that to me tastes good. I would rather just have a pumpkin spice or a coffee, but not both. I do think that the latte, that the chai is actually the tea notes seem to go better with these kinds of spices. So, for millennia, like the Southeast, the Asians have been doing these kinds of concoctions. Of course, tea would go better with these kinds of spices, you know? I'm not convinced that coffee goes real great with it. And I know I'm a minority opinion on that. I know that's an unpopular opinion. So I apologize. And you can definitely clap back at me in the comments. It's no problem. So it doesn't have coffee in it. It just is a deep, dark, bassy, rich pumpkin spice. And frankly, it was exactly what I wanted this season. Was it brilliant? No. Was it basic? Yes. Did it perform amazing? No. Did it perform decently? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I would have liked more volume from it. I mean, there's just no question. But I actually think that this one was a little stronger than the vanilla chai latte. I mean, I could definitely get a 5 out of it, solidly. Like, I don't think it was in the 4 range. I think it was solidly in the 5, even in the open concept. And I enjoyed it. I don't think it got a whole lot higher than a 6.5, which, if you're going to spend that much time burning this kind of a candle, I want more than a 6.5. And when you have a basic kind of fall scent note like pumpkin spice, you can have that in a pretty good register with a pretty good volume. Otherwise, like, what is the point? We have pumpkin spice candles coming out of our ears. Every time I burn a pumpkin spice candle, it's like, impress me. Why are you different? Why are you special? Why would I want to buy you as opposed to all the other myriad pumpkin spice options? The bar is really pretty high on a certain level. On another level, the bar is very low for pumpkin spice. It's kind of like a tree candle. Like, the bar is low. It's pretty easy to like do something decent in that like profile. But on another level, the bar is extremely high because it's easy for so many candle companies to churn out a ton of tree candles, a ton of pumpkin spice candles, a ton of apple candles. And so it really makes it very hard for a company to give us a new and original and exciting pumpkin spice or apple, even if it's a classic one, that you would think about repurchasing and not trying some other new flashy concoction that just comes out every single year, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure that this one necessarily had it, but I really liked it a lot. And to be perfectly honest, I liked it better than the iterations of spiced pumpkin and pumpkin apple from Yankee over the last few years. I'm one of those people that always bought, well, I used to always buy a spiced pumpkin as a Yankee girl, right? And then like a few years ago, and by a few, I mean like 8 or 9 years ago, they reformulated the spiced pumpkin and it was like, oh, this is gross, right? So that year I switched to pumpkin apple because I was revolted by what I was smelling in the jar. And I'm like, wait, am I really a pumpkin apple girl, not a pumpkin spice? Note to self. And then the next year after that, I'm like, note to self, pumpkin apple, not spiced pumpkin. And then pumpkin apple started going downhill. Sean from Hearthside has been insisting for years that they've been messing with those two fragrances. And I totally believe it because I have really not been interested in buying either one of them for almost a decade. And I know that that's not because they're bad fragrances. They've been around for like half a century. Obviously, Rubbermaid has messed with them, right? So I actually ended up enjoying this one better than I've enjoyed spiced pumpkin or pumpkin apple over the last few years. And it is my recommendation to you if you want a pumpkin spice candle from Yankee. And I know this is late November, so this is old news. But hey, if you see one on clearance, maybe pick it up and bring it out next year or whatever else, because I actually liked this one. It's, like I said, it's bassy, it's dark, it's rich. It's not synthetic. I pulled this one out because I haven't burned it yet. This was in their fall collection, this pumpkin cinnamon swirl, which I kind of liked. And I obviously ended up getting in a 3-wick. Oh, but next to this one, it just seems cloying and just not good. I'm noticing all of the caramel notes in it. There's this weird, almost Michael's pumpkin spice coming off of it. Maybe even a touch of red hot cinnamon. I'm questioning why it is that I bought this one. Isolated, I thought it was fine in that fall collection, but as we all know, the bar was very low in that fall collection. So here we go. But next to this one, I mean, this is the real deal. That is just not. It's, oh, I'm going to try to take that back to Yankee because I am just not going to burn it. I'm not, you know, especially now since I've burned this pumpkin spice latte. This is the one that I recommend to you. So very quickly, the scent blurb on it is your favorite coffee shop, your favorite person, and your favorite toasty beverage. It's the perfect way to spend an afternoon. Set the mood with scents of cinnamon sugar, pumpkin spice, and smooth maple. It calls out maple. I'm not getting a whole lot of maple in it, but you know, maple would go very well with these notes. So there's that. Maple would definitely have taken it to maybe a little bit more of a unique place if I had smelled it, but I'm okay with it. It could also have gone cloying, and the way that Yankee has been mixing their candles, I'm happy with them actually not giving us a good maple note here. The top notes are allegedly cinnamon sugar, glazed icing, brown butter. Mid notes, caramel, spiced croissant dough, and pumpkin. Base notes, vanilla syrup and maple. They don't even mention spice. Again, it's odd. And if I had looked at the scent notes for that and then the scent notes for the vanilla chai latte, I would have gone with vanilla chai latte with all of the robust coffee notes. And then this just looks like it's going to be sugar central with a spiced croissant dough. Oh, there's the spiced. Okay. It's in the croissant dough. Caramel, vanilla syrup, maple, cinnamon sugar, glazed icing. Oh my gosh. Like I said, this sounds like it's sugar central, and it's really not. Don't get me wrong, it's sweet, it's lovely. It's a lovely pumpkin spice, but it's bassy, it's roasty, it's rich, it's spicy. I mean, it's just a really, really nice pumpkin spice, and it's not high in the register, and I love that. I love that. This I enjoyed. No, it really didn't get much higher than a 6.5, but I liked it. I liked it, and I enjoyed burning it. And it was, like I said, a touch stronger than vanilla chai latte. So, yeah, I would recommend this. Of all of the fleet right now that Yankee has with their pumpkin spices, this is the one I would recommend for sure. No coffee, unfortunately, but like I said, that may be absolutely fine. It is harder than you would expect to match up a coffee note with all of those spices. That's what I've got for you, my friends. Those are the two that I have from Yankee. I wouldn't repurchase either of them, probably, but the pumpkin spice latte was good. It was good. If it came out like in a 3-wick or something, you know, next fall, I would consider buying it. I would, you know, if it was a really good sale. The thing is, Bath & Body Works has so many good pumpkin scents. You know what I mean? I should have taken out like the pumpkin vanilla cream to compare it to, a la pumpkin pie. It's kind of in that realm. I think this one is a little spicier though. It's a real spicy pumpkin spice. Emphasis on the spice, and I like it. I think it's great. It's roasty and it's spicy, and I like that. I like that a lot. That's what I've got for you, friends. I will link them down below if they're available. I kind of suspect that they are, and I suspect they'll probably be on clearance like in January or something. And I'm going to take that peppermint mocha to my sister's house. We'll fire that baby up. Thanks so much for joining me, my friends. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.